Hello, everybody. It's 7:30, and what day is it? Well, it is January 17th, Tuesday. Welcome to another Paper Great Lakes weather. Hopefully, all of you are doing quite well. We're talking about a polar express, and what I mean by that is we're talking about a few winter storms that could be possible, and the snow accumulation potential tends to drop south, with each progressing winter storm that could potentially move through. There's going to likely be one farther in northern parts of Michigan come Thursday into Friday with some lake effect snow on the backside. Then it is expected that another winter storm will come in, and the track is still uncertain for that. We still have to figure out some things with regards to how much snow is going to fall and where. But that's coming, and we'll talk about it in just 1 second. Make sure to subscribe, stay updated. This is a sunset. I'm sure everyone enjoyed that sunshine that we had over the weekend. This weekend, it was quite pleasant. Got a chance to go out there and see a few sunsets, take advantage of that sunshine. Make sure to subscribe, stay updated, and we will continue to provide updates on these upcoming winter storms. Let's get right to it with the probabilistic winter precipitation outlook from the Weather Prediction Center. Okay, so this information is accessible to everyone, no matter where you are. You can access it by visiting the Weather Prediction Center's website, and it has good information regarding potential for snowfall. This map, once again, is the 24-hour probability of snow accumulating greater than 1 inch in this general area. So that's what is currently being shown, and you do have a widespread snow area in this. My mouse clicker isn't working. You do have a widespread snow potential across much of Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, and then Upper Peninsula and northern Michigan is going to see quite a bit of snow. It's looking like it's going to be relatively between 4 to 8 inches of snow in most places, but then areas where Lake Superior that are near the shoreline of Lake Superior could see much more. It's dependent on the lake effect snow potential that comes behind that. But widespread snow event, and it looks like the rain to snow line is going to be focused just north of Grand Rapids at this current time. So mainly the snow is going to stay farther north in that area. There might be a little bit of snow in parts south, but it'll quickly melt away before the lake effect snow may potentially come in. But this is where we're looking for potential for snow on Thursday and on Friday. Next week, it looks like it could drop farther south, and that's something we're going to be looking at with the upcoming models in just 1 minute. But that's what's currently being shown, and then you look at the day after into Saturday, and you do see that there is some lake effect snow potential across parts of Ohio and Michigan, southern Michigan as well, looking like could see some snow potential. Not much. This is, again, a lower chance for greater than 1 inch of snow accumulation, so it's likely not going to be too much snow on the ground, but that is what's currently being shown by this model. Let's back it up and let's see what the Weather Prediction Center is saying about the winter storm coming next week. I don't think we really have the ability to see that just right now, so we're going to wait on that potential for just the time being. What I'm going to show you now, though, is the trend. Okay, it looks like we could have a pattern change across parts of the United States. The Climate Prediction Center put out this 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Again, last time I showed you this, it did show that it was going to be much warmer than average according to the Climate Prediction Center. Now it's showing it's going to be much cooler than average farther west, and that might have implications for the Great Lakes region. It looks like it's going to be slightly cooler than average, or potentially slightly cooler than average, or just a chance of below normal temperatures across parts of the Great Lakes region at this current moment. That's what's being shown by the Climate Prediction Center. And why is that? You're probably wondering. Well, let's look at the models and get a look at why that could potentially be. We're going to scatter it out to the continental graphic. Okay, this is what it looks like in the upper levels of the atmosphere once again. All right, so you have lower pressure in the upper levels here, indicating there's higher pressure at the bottom. All right, so that's what's currently being shown. You do have this high pressure system sitting out of eastern Canada, and then this high pressure building just farther west of Alaska at this current moment. And what that's allowing is that it's allowing some Arctic air to drop into the western parts of the United States. So as we progress this forward a little bit, you can see that this trough begins to push in towards this ridge here, and that's what's going to cause a storm to kind of initiate. And as that pressure deepens in that general area, you're going to see the development of some snow on the top side and then some rain on the bottom half. In fact, there's severe weather potential. One thing I didn't mention is there's a marginal risk for tornadoes across parts of southern Indiana as we get into tomorrow. We may look at that real quick right at the end of this, but there is going to be a little bit of tornado potential on the southern end of this storm with the snow on the northern side. But that is what is currently happening. We got a series of troughs, which is why I'm calling it a polar express. You have winter storms kind of going in repeated waves. So that's the first one that's going to move through. It's going to settle right over the Great Lakes region and then move off to the east, and then you get another trough that digs down in central United States, then begins to deepen once again. And as that trough intensifies, this one is showing that it could go farther south than the one I just showed you, all right? So it's going to be down into parts of southern Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and then the northern edge of that is likely going to have snow. How much snow? Can't tell for sure just yet, but that is what is currently being shown in the upper levels according to the GFS model. And then another trough appears to dip down even farther south, but that one tends to kind of weaken as it gets towards the Great Lakes region, with the potential for some more Arctic air to eject into parts of the United States. That is where we're likely going to get to the cooler air that could settle over the area near the end of January, beginning of February. Now, you do notice you have high pressure in the upper levels settling over this area in Alaska. That is going to allow, and this high pressure on the eastern side is going to allow that that cooler air to settle over the United States. All right, so that's going to be something that kind of influences the temperature that we have over the end of January. Now we see a series of troughs that kind of cycle over parts of the Great Lakes region. Those we're not, I mean, it's too soon to tell how much that's going to impact our area, but this deep trough really could have some impacts in regards to much cooler temperatures. That's going to be something we want to pay attention to as the models unfold and show that a little bit later on. But it does appear that cooler weather is coming based on what the model trends are saying, so that's going to be something to keep watch of, and the potential for snow that is associated with that. So let's actually look at the precipitation model. According to the GFS, we're going to also look at the ECMWF as well. What you have here, you do have some snow actually over parts of Michigan right now, something that we haven't really paid attention to much. What you're going to see is that low kind of settling over the central United States, beginning to draw on that moisture, that Gulf moisture, and going to start to see some precipitation form from that. There's already some precipitation formed in the Rockies, but then it's going to draw more moisture from the Gulf. You do have those thunderstorms across parts of the Mississippi River Valley. Those storms could possibly be severe. You do have marginal tornado potential with that. You do have some instability in the atmosphere, and you do have some directional shear at the surface, so that could cause a little bit of severe weather to initiate across that area. It is a slight risk. You do have more heavy rain in parts of Indiana and Ohio. Again, this is likely going to shift much farther north. For the snow is likely going to impact the Upper Peninsula, so that's going to shift off to the east. You do see that snow band that kind of settles over the Upper Peninsula, parts of northern Michigan as well. Going to see a good deal of snow from this quick burst, the system that moves through. The low pressure moves off to the east. The second round, again, the models are currently showing it's going to take more of a southward trek, and it's going to cover quite a bit of Michigan and then parts of Indiana and Ohio. It doesn't look like it's going to get farther south than Dayton, Ohio, though, so Dayton might be dealing with some freezing rain potential associated with that. And then you do have some storms that are across parts of the south as well, so that's something to keep in mind of. There could be some thunderstorms down there, but in parts of the Great Lakes region, it looks like it's going to be mainly snow and then rain farther south of Dayton. So that's currently what that model's showing. Again, it's likely going to change because we're getting farther out, but we are starting to come to the conclusion that there could be some more winter weather farther south according to what the models are saying. So going into the long range, not really too much to pay attention to just yet. I do see this storm for Wednesday of next week that could also bring some snow even farther south than what that previous storm was showing, and that one looks like to impact Ohio pretty heavily according to what the long range models are saying. But again, we want to wait. So this first storm is going to be hitting Thursday into Friday. All right, so that one's going to hit northern parts of Michigan. The next one is going to move in possibly on Sunday into Monday, according to what the GFS is projecting. Now the Euro is different on this, so it could change in the near future. So it's something to just keep watch of. And then into next week, we're watching another round of snow that could possibly impact Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio on the southern edge again as well. Now there is some concern regarding some severe weather across parts of the south once again associated with this, so it's just going to be something to pay attention to as it evolves later on. So that is kind of what is being shown here, but getting into the long range, don't want to really make any interesting projections about that because the models are very far out at this point. But that is what's currently being shown. 3 possible winter storms on the way, one almost certainly coming to northern Michigan on Thursday into Friday, and then a possible one over the weekend, and then a third potential winter storm into next week according to the GFS model. All right, let's look at what the Euro's saying, and we're going to get zoomed in a little bit on what the Euro's saying. Euro tends to do a better job at times regarding these events. Again, northern Michigan, and then that line is north of Grand Rapids where freezing rain and snow occur. So that's going to be impactful for that general area. And then it moves off, and then you do see the potential for some freezing drizzle and snow on the backside associated with that lake effect snow that is likely to develop along the backside of it. That could cause a few travel impacts into Saturday, maybe even into parts of Friday as well. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. Then you see the Euro also showing that potential winter storm that's going to be farther south on Sunday into Monday. That snow looks like it's going to be heavier farther down. This model actually shows that the snow is going to be even farther south than Dayton. This one actually shows it's going to be in parts of northern Kentucky. So that's a bit of a change from what the GFS is saying. So snow potential could reach as far south as Kentucky. We'll have to see what exactly goes on with that. But that's moving off to the east into Tuesday and then Wednesday. Now, interesting thing about the Euro model is the Euro model doesn't really show that Wednesday storm that is currently being projected by the GFS. This is something we're going to have to wait to make a sure conclusion on, because that's the thing about these models. The models have different algorithms put together, and in some cases will provide different information regarding a particular event. Once that consistency comes in place, though, then we can actually determine how things will actually unfold. So the one on Wednesday the 25th is most certainly a maybe according to what these models are saying, with the lack of consistency currently being shown. But there looks like 2 winter storms could potentially impact the Great Lakes region over the next several days. Now, what are we talking about for snow accumulation? Well, I don't want to go into that second storm snow accumulation, but for this one, we can take a look at some of what the projected snow accumulations are for this event. Let's zoom in on, actually, let's zoom right in onto the Michigan's Upper Peninsula, because that's where the place that's most likely to be impacted from this. So if we put a possible snow total on this according to what the GFS is saying, here's our possible snow totals right here. All right, so you do have about a solid 6 to 10 inches of snow across parts of northern Michigan. Let's actually freeze frame it on here. That would be our 87. Let's freeze frame it right there, and then let's have a look at a comparison of the models. So we're going to go to the blend of models, and the blend of models, what that allows us to do is see the possible total snowfall for a local area, and I do believe I cannot use the local graph for that, so we're going to zoom out a little bit. Doesn't seem to be working for some reason. Isn't that very interesting? Yep, the map is having some issues right now, but we will come back to that map in just a minute. Let's go back to the GFS and have a look. We'll zoom back into Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Here you have the snow potential. Wow, very interesting. It's really having some interesting issues here with this particular snow model. I'm not sure exactly what happened to this map here, but you did see it 6 to 10 inches across parts of northern Michigan. Quite an odd situation with the pivotal weather going on right here. This is something very interesting. This is a little bit dragged a little too far out. I do think there's an issue going on with this. Oh, snow depth. No wonder it's going. Here we are. All right, that's better. I don't know what the website did to me there, but here we have the snow totals once again. Let's zoom back in to the Michigan's Upper Peninsula. All right, so possible snow totals. Again, 6 to 10 inches shown across parts of northern Michigan. If we zoom out, we can get a better look at how the snow is going to impact places. North of Grand Rapids, you do have that snow potential. And then that lake effect snow on Saturday could bring some snow as well. It doesn't really look like it's going to be too much, but there could be maybe an inch or two of snow accumulation across parts of southwest lower Michigan, according to what the GFS model is saying. Let's compare that to the ECMWF model real quick. Again, similar, a lot less for those lake effect snow bands. It does still say 6 to 10 inches across some areas, and then 1 to 2 inches across parts of southwest lower Michigan once again. So kind of the assumed amount for this particular snowfall event across the Great Lakes region. But again, we'll have to see how things unfold when the event actually happens. This is just an idea of potential snowfall according to 2 different models on that we can access. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show. 2 potential winter storms possibly over the next several days, and then monitoring the chance that the GFS is showing for that 3rd winter storm. We'll have to wait to see what weather forecasters will say about that. But make sure to subscribe, stay updated. I continue to do these videos quite often. It's just kind of interesting, and I check it out anyway, so might as well just show you guys what I'm looking at and how I read the models as well. So make sure to subscribe, stay updated, and hopefully this video was helpful, provided some good information for you. Remember, this information is all accessible by you. You can access it on the website, so please make sure to take that opportunity to do that. All right, that is it for me, and I will see you all at the next available opportunity.